25 anos atrás, na cidade de Los Angeles, falecia Frederick Astaire Jr., muito mais conhecido como Fred Astaire. Filho de pai austríaco, o Fred Astaire foi o maior dançarino da história do cinema e colocou as suas pernas no seguro pela quantia, na época, de $1 milhão. Para lembrar Fred Astaire, curta com a gente os bastidores de um dos maiores sucessos dele, o Piccolino.
The musical is the hardest of all films to pull off. Very few people in this world can sing. Very few people can dance very well. It's a magical art form. It takes so many talented people. You've got to have actors who are great actors, but it can also sing and dance. You've got to have people who really understand how a musical works. It has to work as a story, but it also has to have these spectacular moments.
We had a really wonderful unit or team which we gathered together from all over to make this series of pictures with. Director Mark Sandrich, first of all.
Mark Sandrich was a writer and director of shorts, and he did very good ones, and he was very fast. They gave Sandrich an opportunity to do The Gay Divorcee, and he hit and became the primary director.
Pandro Berman, Mark Sandrich, and Fred Astaire actually developed a graph, a chart, a template. How many minutes you needed of plot, get to the musical number, how many minutes that was, comedy. They really put all the elements down in timing, and they followed that. We have to meet our characters. He has to be enamored of her, and he sings and dances.
Long as I can be with you, it's a lovely day.
Daddy and Pan, we always called him Pan, not Hermes, would cook up numbers together, and they bounced off each other really, really well. They looked alike, as people know, but I myself even made a mistake one day in the rehearsal. Somebody came in and said, where is Fred? And I pointed, said, over there. And it was Pan I was pointing to, so.
6 weeks before the director was even allowed to come in on the set.
Hermes always used to play Ginger when they were creating the Fred and Ginger routines, which Fred would choreograph, and Hermes would play Ginger. And there's some very funny stories about, crew guys walking into the soundstage and seeing the two guys dancing together and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys," and turn around walking out.
Ginger was always working on other movies, too, while she was working on ours. So actually, Hermes and Fred and myself will work out all the routines together, and then when Ginger's free, she'll come over and Hermes will teach her the routines, which is exactly what the format was for all the subsequent pictures.
And in the final product, Pan would actually dub Ginger's taps. Most stars in that day didn't dub their own taps. Fred, of course, did. But Pan dubbed Ginger's taps, and he may even have done it in high heels.
All 5 songs from Top Hat were on the top 10 at one time.
No strings, no connections, no ties to my affections. I'm fancy-free and free for anything you fancy. Isn't this a lovely day to be caught in the rain? Oh, I'm putting on my top hat, tying up my white tie, brushing off my tails. Oh, I love to go out fishing in a river or a creek, but I don't enjoy it half as much as dancing cheek to cheek.
Come to the casino and hear them play the piccolino.
Fred Astaire's solo number is a very unique piece.
I just got an invitation through the mail.
It comes from a number that he did called Say Young Man of Manhattan, which was a great success for him. The shooting down makes us laugh. Nobody ever did that. First of all, it's a bit of humor. It's also out of sync. The number's so rhythmic that that's one of the few times Fred improvised. He very rarely ad-libbed or improvised. He does that. They had made 13 canes, and to try to get the long takes that he did, he would get mad and he'd break them over his knee. So everybody's sitting there, we got one more, and he did the last take with the last cane.
Sometimes when you talk about Fred and Ginger, a lot of the slant goes more towards Fred because he was actually in the room creating all the numbers. Ginger was very often doing other movies while Fred was preparing their next musical because she really wanted to be an actress, not just known as musicals, but she wanted to flex her muscles in comedy and drama.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak.
Fred and Ginger just brought an ease and a romance to the movie musical. It was something unique.
In a letter that Daddy wrote to Aunt Deli during the shooting of Top Hat, he refers to the cheek-to-cheek number. He says, "I only have one shot this morning. The rest of the day I'll spend rehearsing cheek-to-cheek. A swell tune, sort of different. It's a cross between The Last Roundup and Night and Day. Has no verse. The chorus runs something like 72 bars. Figure that out."
When we're out together dancing cheek to cheek.
One of the things that drove Astaire crazy often was Ginger Rogers' costumes.
The feather dress was a big problem for Mr. Astaire. But it's a beautiful dress, and Ginger loved it.
She was right, it looked fabulous, and it moved. She didn't have to do, I mean, she was encased in movement.
But the problem was when they went to dance in it, the feathers kept coming off of it and getting on the floor and causing problems for the cameraman. And if you look closely at the number, you will occasionally see a feather in the shot fly off the dress.
Those feathers flew everywhere, and they got up Daddy's nose and in his eyes and on his clothes.
So he was miffed. He said, you know, stop, there are feathers all over me. She said, oh, please, it's not much.
Caused a lot of trouble, but it was worth it in the long haul.
It became a good joke because Hermes and Fred both then took the song Cheek to Cheek and rewrote it and used to sing, feathers, I see feathers, and she'd laugh.
And then the wonderful capper of this story is, after the movie was released, Fred gave Ginger a little feather charm and wrote a thank you note and said, "You were right."
O Piccolino custou $600 mil na época que ele foi feito e ele faturou 5 vezes mais nas bilheterias do mundo inteiro. E por falar em sucesso, um filme que também estoura a boca das bilheterias é O Hobbit, baseado na obra de J.R.R. Tolkien, você conhece, né? O mesmo autor de O Senhor dos Anéis. Para quem já viu ou ainda está na expectativa de ver, vai aí um aperitivo de O Hobbit.
Far to the east, over ranges and rivers, lies a single solitary peak. The dwarves are determined to reclaim their homeland.
I like visitors as much as the next hobbit. But I do like to know them before they come visiting.
Mr. Baggins?
At your service. I'm surrounded by dwarves. What are they doing here?
Oh, they're quite a merry gathering.
So, this is the Hobbit.
You asked me to find the 14th member of this company, and I have chosen Mr. Baggins.
Me? No.
Hobbits can pass unseen by most if they choose, which gives us a distinct advantage.
We will seize this chance to take back Erebor!
Here, Mr. Bilbo! Where are you off to?
I'm going on an adventure!
Mithrandir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. And it gives me courage.
So this is your purpose, to enter the mountain?
What of it?
There are some who would not deem it wise.
The dark part has found a way back into the world.
Why don't we have a game of riddles?
And if it loses, what then? Well, if it loses, precious, then we eat it. If Baggins loses, we eat it whole.
Fair enough.
I will take each and every one of these dwarves over the mightiest army. Loyalty, honor, a willing heart. I can ask no more than that. Home is now behind you. The world is ahead.
Well, that could have been worse.
Você viu aí com a gente 1 minutinho do Hobbit. Agora, só faltam 168, porque o filme tem 169 minutos de duração. E é só o primeiro dessa trilogia que ainda vai durar até 2014. Depois do intervalo, cinema brasileiro para você, com os bastidores da comédia Os Penetras. Já já.